Hey there, it's Laura here from MakingCardsIsFun.com, and today I'm sharing a holiday sequin shaker card in honor of Heffy Doodle's Block Hop to celebrate their brand new winter release. So let's get started. I'm going to start out by creating my own pattern paper with a stencil and Festive Berries Distress ink. First, I'm going to temporarily adhere my paper to my craft sheet with some washi tape, and then I put the stencil on top, and I'm also using some washi tape to keep that down or to hold that down. I'm using this stencil from Winnie and Walter called the Peppermint Zone. You can also use some pattern paper or you could stamp a design as well. So I'm going to use some Festive Berries Distress ink from Tim Holtz to create a red peppermint pattern. And I just love how easy that distress ink blends. It's been a while since I used distress ink, so I was just really amazed by the quality and by the intense colors of this particular ink. Next, I'm going to stamp the adorable elf from the Elfish Antics stamp set from Heffy Doodle. First, I am stamping some extra images. At first, I wanted to use these, but then I decided not to use them. So just letting you know. I am using Memento Tuxedo black ink to stamp these images, and I'm using Simon Says Stamp Ultra Heavyweight cardstock. So for the elf skin, I'm using E51 and E0000, and I'm also using some R11 to add some blush to those cheeks. So I'm going to use the same or do the same copy coloring technique like I always do. So I usually start out with my darkest color and then I move on to my mid-tone or straight to my lightest color. For the elf's costume, I'm using some shades of green. I'm using YG17, YG25, and YG23. And this time I'm using 3 markers, but you can also just use 2 markers. I'll be showing that later in the video. So I actually thought that the YG17 was a little bit too light, so I switched over to YG67, which is just a darker shade of green, and it worked better. So I'm actually going to just use these 2 shades. I'm using YG67 and YG25. Here I'm using the 3 shades, but then I'm going to switch to using the 2 shades only, since that was even quicker and it also looked really pretty, so I thought why not just use 2 shades. So after I colored the green part, it's time to color some the boots and the elf's belt. I'm using N6 and N3 to do that, so I'm just using 2 shades of gray. At first I wanted to color the shoes brown, but then I decided to color them gray. Then for the hair, I'm using E57 and E55, and I'm using this feathering technique, which is really great when you're coloring hair. It's been a while since I colored hair, but I thought it went pretty quick, and I think it also turned out nice. I thought that the E57 was a bit too light, so I went ahead and used a darker shade using E27. So in total I've used 3 markers to color the elf's hair. And it's time to color the pants, and I'm also going to color some other details. I'm using yellow for this. I'm using Y19 and Y13, and these colors work together really well. So you just have to, sometimes you just have to go ahead and try out some color combinations to see which ones work and which don't really work at all. So I'm going to use a coordinating die to die cut the elf, and then I grabbed a piece of 4 1/4 of an inch by 4 1/4 of an inch, and I die cut a circle out of that to create my sequin shaker. I'm adding some adhesive to the back of the circle, and then I'm going to adhere a piece of acetate. So in this video, I'll be creating my sequin shaker with acetate and with fun foam. You can use foam adhesive instead of fun foam, or you could use a fuse tool by We Are Memory Keepers to create a sequin shaker. Lately, I've just been enjoying this particular technique because it adds the most dimension to your shakers. So I like to cut my fun foam with my scissors, and I just kind of eyeball that, and then I adhere this fun foam with Tomo Mono Multi Glue. So I personally think that this adhesive works best when adhering fun foam to acetate. It doesn't fall off, it sticks really nice. It's just a really strong adhesive and I would really recommend it. Then I'm filling up my sequin shakers with a couple of different sequins from the ton, using some red sequins, some gold, some clear sequins. I'm also using some beads and some little stars as well. And then finally I'm going to close my sequin shaker, so I put some Tomo Mono Multi Glue on that fun foam, and then I can close my sequin shaker, and then you want to let that dry for a while before you start shaking it. I'm going to create a sentiment banner with a scrap of red cardstock. I am prepping my cardstock with some kitchen flour. You could use an embossing buddy or a Martha Stewart powder tool just to remove that static cling from the cardstock. I stamped my sentiment with Wow's Ultra Sticky ink pad, and then I'm going to sprinkle on some white embossing powder. This is the Opaque Bright White Embossing Powder from Wow. This is the super fine version. And then I'm going to heat set this sentiment, and then it's ready to be adhered onto my card. I'm using my EK Success Cutter Bee scissors to cut a V-shaped banner out of this piece of cardstock, and then I can adhere it onto my sequin shaker with my Scotch ATG. Also adhering my little elf with some foam adhesive, and then I'm almost finished with this card, so I'm just going to add some sparkle with the Spectrum Noir Clear Overlay glitter pen, I think it's called. Yes, it's from Spectrum Noir and it's called the Sparkle Pen. And then finally I'm going to add a coat of the Nuvo Clear Glaze to finish everything off. So this product is similar to Ranger's Glossy Accents, in case you're wondering. So that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check out my blog for more information about the block hop, and I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.